Alright guys, we're up for another video. If you've noticed I've been wearing the same clothing, it's because I've been recording these videos back to back because that's the hustle that we're on going into the holidays. So today I thought we would talk about the best Star Wars movies. We're gonna rank them a little bit. I just finished filming that G Fuel video, so I'm gonna move some of this stuff out of the way. So this is actually really hard for me to do because it's hard to rank some movies based on quality versus nostalgia. So some of these movies I want to rank higher because of the nostalgia factor, but I know that they're not great movies. So first of all, we're going to do the exact same thing we did with the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We are going to rank the movies based on their sector. So basically the trilogy that they have been released in. Now I know that kind of puts Rogue One out there on its own as a Star Wars story because the other ones haven't come out yet, so we're just gonna kind of leave that one alone until we do the full ranking list, which I still have not actually completed and we've already started this video. But let's start with the original trilogy. So original trilogy in my opinion is decently easy to rank, but at the same time it's kind of tough. In third place I will always put Return of the Jedi. It's not a bad movie, but there's issues with it. You know, everybody knows it's not that it's bad, it was a good way to end off the trilogy, but it definitely wasn't the strongest of the three. Then in the second place position, I'm gonna put New Hope, but it is really hard to kind of rank New Hope below Empire, even though I think Empire just kind of it pulled all of these different elements together in this really, really good way. It was this perfect bridge movie so that you knew that it was continuing on to the next one. But at the same time, you got New Hope, which was literally so many chances George Lucas took on it. It had everything going against it. He literally had to leave the Screenwriters Guild to get that the intro title credit thing. You know, that everybody knows is so synonymous with Star Wars movies now that when it starts, it's got a title and it gives you a brief intro to what's going on in the movie. He literally had to pay a fine and leave the Screenwriters Guild just to have that put in the movie, which is very, very impressive. So, but I'm still gonna leave it in the second place, but that's not to take away from how important it is as a movie, and I love New Hope, but I think Empire it's a little bit better in terms of a movie, if that makes any sense. So then we're gonna move on to the prequels, and this one it might be where people get a little bit mad at me. So in third place, we're putting Attack of the Clones. I think Attack of the Clones is probably the worst of them. That it has some high points, but you get Hayden Christensen for the first time with his terrible acting, which is half due to him, half due to the really terrible dialogue that you just can't make work with him. I always said that Ewan McGregor was really great at taking bad dialogue and making it work to his advantage as Obi-Wan Kenobi, but Hayden Christensen just did not have that pizzazz, so he took these lines and delivered them, and they always felt really awkward. But when I saw these movies, I was in middle school, and they seemed good at the time. I was in elementary school, middle school when those prequels were coming out. And at the time it seemed great. I remember all the girls loved Hayden Christensen. Everybody thought he was super cool. If they were guys, everybody just really enjoyed that movie. And then you get the huge lightsaber battle. I like that huge that three-way battle with the with the animals. You got Padme, Anakin, and Obi-Wan. I still think that scene is really cool. And then obviously when you're little and don't have any understanding of actual relationships, that weird relationship between Padme and Anakin seems natural. But when you go back and watch it, I watched it last week on a plane, and what has he done to make her think that he's a decent person that you would want to date? Because I don't see it. It's just a lot of screaming. It's a lot of hissy fits. It's a lot of red flags, just red flags going up everywhere. So that is, in my opinion, the worst of the trilogy. And then it's kind of a toss-up for me for Revenge of the Sith and Phantom Menace, because Phantom Menace was the first Star Wars movie I ever saw. So I have this huge soft spot for it. It's got one of my favorite battle scenes, which up until very recently, it was probably hands down my favorite battle scene. Actually, I've got it right here in Lego form. We built this on stream. But it's got that awesome Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon Jinn, Darth Maul lightsaber battle, which was the best lightsaber battle to date and one of the best ones going forward. And Qui-Gon Jinn's my favorite Jedi. Darth Maul is a really cool Sith character, probably one of the cooler ones we got in general. So I really like it. So I'm putting that one in first place. And honestly, Jake Lloyd's yippies are way less annoying than Hayden Christensen's "the only one that doesn't understand me." It's better. It's better. So I think I'm actually gonna put Revenge of the Sith in the second place, and I'm gonna put Phantom Menace in first place for that trilogy. I'm gonna get lambasted for this. Then we've got the new trilogy. Obviously it is not done yet, but it is, ranking Force Awakens versus The Last Jedi. So I am actually going to put Force Awakens a little bit lower. I would say that overall it's a safer movie. It's a more solid movie from start to finish. It doesn't really take any chances, but it's very consistent and it's level throughout the entire thing. It's definitely not bad by any means, but then you go into Last Jedi that has some stuff that in my opinion was really, really bad. Again, not going to go into spoilers with it, but just some stuff that just really wasn't that great. But then it has some of the best stuff I've ever seen in a Star Wars movie. There's just like a couple things that happened that like blew my mind. There's like this one battle scene that I'm like, I just want an entire movie of this. Like I'm really big into obviously Jedi as a storyline, as a lore, and I like the rebellion. I get it. I get why it has to happen, but I just don't care. If I could just have nothing but Jedi stories, I'd be great. Let's do an Old Republic, please. Can we just do an Old Republic movie trilogy? But that's why I'm giving that one the nod. And then, like I said, Rogue One's kind of hard to rank in that. So now let's try to rank all of them. This is tough. So in the last place, I'm going to put Attack. I'm putting Attack of the Clones as the worst Star Wars movie, in my opinion. I loved it when it came out because I've got all that nostalgia factor, but if I'm really, like, obviously, if I'm being a level-headed individual, I know that Attack of the Clones is a very bad movie. And, like, level-headed, I also know that Phantom Menace is a very bad movie, but it's going higher on this list because nostalgia will take you places, people. Nostalgia will take you places. Then I'm probably gonna have to put Revenge of the Sith. Revenge of the Sith, like I said, even though at the time I really loved it when it came out, I understand that it has a lot of problems and does not necessarily stack up. And here's where people are probably going to get really mad at me. I'm probably going to put Return of the Jedi right here. I don't know. Wait, do I want Return there or do I want Rogue One? Because, like, Rogue One is a really solid movie, but it just, like, clearly you know that none of the characters mean anything. So on a grander scale, maybe we'll just forget Rogue One. Maybe we'll leave Rogue One out because it's kind of its own little thing. I don't know. People are going to really get mad at me for this, aren't they? I'm putting Return of the Jedi as third worst out of 9 Star Wars movies. Like, that's just not, You're going to get mad. Anyways, we're just going to put Return right there. Yeah, okay. Then we will put, I guess we'll put Rogue One. We'll say, like, Rogue One and Return of the Jedi are kind of tied. Because after this point, in my opinion, they're all, other than Phantom Menace, they're all really good. Like I said, it's nostalgia. Nostalgia is keeping me from putting Phantom Menace where I know it rightfully belongs, which is definitely, in my opinion, right after Revenge of the Sith. So, like, this is not best. This is my favorite. So I guess we're going to do it like that. Because if I did this, like, by what is the best Star Wars movie, this list would probably go a lot different. But what is my favorite Star Wars movie, it's different. So we're going to do it like that. Then after here, we're going to put Force Awakens. Again, not saying it's bad, but that's just where it's going. Putting Force Awakens. I'm, like, writing these down as I go so I can kind of visualize it in my head. Then I'm gonna put Last Jedi. We're getting here. Last Jedi. So this is 6. How is this only 6? Okay, no, that makes sense. Yeah. So Last Jedi. Then we're gonna put Phantom Menace. I'm gonna let my nostalgia kind of take a back seat here for a second, and we're gonna put Phantom Menace. Then I'm gonna put New Hope. Then Empire. Okay, so that's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. People are going to be mad that Return of the Jedi is that low down, though. I feel like Return of the Jedi should probably be ahead of Force Awakens. I don't know. This is a real struggle for me, but I really like what Force Awakens did for the Star Wars cinematic universe and kind of brought it back. But I think we'll go... This is terrible because I know Rogue One's a really good movie, but in terms of, like, my favorite, I've got to put it lower. And it's weird. It kind of gets a little bit like the Marvel Universe when you start getting down to the last handful. There's only some that really stand out as being terrible, and then the rest are all kind of, like, really good in between. So, yeah, I'm ready to get totally destroyed in the comment section down below. But just keep in mind, nostalgia has literally helped me write this. If I had seen the original Star Wars movies when I was younger, I probably would have these rank difference, but my parents were not Star Wars fans. They didn't watch it. So my first experience with Star Wars, my first experience with Jedi and anything was Phantom Menace. So, like, my brain just, even though I watch it and I'm like, holy crap, this is terrible. Especially when I try to show it to somebody who's never seen it before, I, like, become very aware of how bad it is. I can't separate myself from being that little kid, being so excited about lightsabers. So I gotta put that higher up. So thank you all so much for watching. Have a fantastic day. Be sure to let me know what your ranking is down below, because I'm sure it's significantly different than this. This is why this is definitely an unpopular opinions list. But thank you all so much for watching. Have a fantastic day. Catch you all later.